right, Bones, that's enough. That's enough of the rock and roll music. Hey, let's get this party. And we are having a party tonight, a paranormal party. This is the last show for September. And one of the last few days of September. What is that? 30 days past September, April, June, November, or something like that. It's been a long time since I was a kid. Anyway, welcome to the show. My show, whatever it is. Kind of fun night. Got a fun guest coming up. Amy Lynn. Only get her opening done as soon as Bones wants to play it. Bones, you and the Bones playing the intro. I always got to check in with him. He runs the show. Anyway, we will be starting. You saw the little thing to Scott, my friend Scott Gruenwald. Still mourning his death. He was a good friend. He was a friend to everybody he ever met. If you knew him, you loved him. So he will be missed. All right, let's go ahead and get back up beat for the show. Jamie Land will come on just a second. Bones, please, sir, play our intro. All right. And here we go. Bones, wait.
Warning, the following video contains strong language which may be offensive to some viewers and or inappropriate for children. The content within this video is intended for mature audiences only.
Southern Fried Paranormal with Len Dorman featuring Bones. Catch us on Spotify, iHeart, iTunes, Spreaker, Facebook, Stream, and everywhere else you catch your podcasts. And of course, WLFD-DB.com. Now, from the backwoods of southeast Arkansas, right beside the Bayou Bartholomew, the longest bayou on the planet, broadcasting from downtown metropolitan Cane Creek Township, here is your host, Len Dorman.
I'm going to bring our guest out right now. Amy Lynn, where are you?
Hello. Now, just so everybody knows,
Hello.
Len, hi. Just so everybody knows that Len has a little bit of a shoddy internet here. So if he by chance goes out, I'll just continue talking. So if you have any questions, fire away. I'm going to do some shout outs as I see some people popping in here. Azriana and Annie. Hi, Annie. Love you. Victoria. Mwah. Thank you for joining.
Yes, I see Victoria and Annie myself. There's Carrie. Carrie Kristen.
Carrie.
Welcome to the show.
Thanks for joining, everyone. I'm glad
so
you could
we are
make
here
it.
to have a good time.
Always a good time.
If anybody has a question, let me know. Love you, girl. I can't just push a button and put it on the screen.
Love you. I was with a couple of these people last weekend and at the Great Lakes Paranormal Conference. And then I seen some of them at the Michigan Paracon, and some of them are just close friends, and others I've investigated with. So they're all popping in to show some support, and I really, really, really appreciate it. Yes, Carrie, I got a nap in today.
That is actually my first question to you. How paranormal?
You cut out on me. You're going to have to say that one again. Can you repeat your question?
Yeah, I was going to how that Paracon went.
Which Paracon? Michigan or Great Lakes or Spirits in the Spring or my fundraiser? I've been to quite a bit of fundraiser Paracons lately.
The Great Lakes.
Great Lakes Paranormal Conference was amazing. They had an extremely good turnout. Victoria, I'd have to say that was one of my favorites this year. I mean, other than the fundraiser that I threw, the mini pop-up Paracon at Broadhead Manor, because the Great Lakes Paranormal Conference, although it was very busy, we were still able to be more personable with people. It wasn't, you were backed up with people left and right. Even the main headliners like Jason Hawes and Sherry and Dave Schrader, they were able to actually have a little bit more one-on-one time with people to answer questions rather than pumping them through, signing the autograph, taking a picture, and saying goodbye. They were actually able to spend time talking with people, which I think is really, really, really important. Oh, Annie, you're going to be going to the Rock Island? Yay! I'm excited to see you there.
Dave Schrader is a great guy. You give him a chance, and he will talk to you.
Oh yeah, Dave Schrader's amazing. I've met him quite a few times. Yeah, Dave Schrader's a friend to all. Everybody loves Dave Schrader. And he makes a great MC too. A great MC. I mean, I guess we can start from the beginning.
Another Wolf interview he gave to me.
Oh, I'm sure he'd probably hop on sometime, but he is really busy. We actually just found out. We actually just found out earlier in the week that he's going to be at the Rock Island Haunted YMCA Paracon next weekend. So not this weekend, then the 7th. So he's going to be there too. You didn't know that when you had Candy on. But yeah, they just got him booked for it. It looks like he froze on us. So let's go back a little bit to the beginning. For those of you that aren't aware, I started my little group. It included 3 of us, myself, Joe West, and my daughter, Kasaya. And we started this group just over a year ago. And we decided to name it Paranormal Party. A little bit of a different name for a paranormal group. Oh, that's awesome, Victoria. That's the event you've been talking about. Gosh, I wish I could make it down there. We'll have to talk. But a lot of people wondered why Paranormal Party, and our thoughts behind it were, everybody for the longest time thought that, the paranormal had this stigma of being really dark and dreary and almost like, possessive, and anybody who liked the paranormal were like demon worshipers, and we had warped sense of mind. And that's not it at all. The paranormal, the spirits, all of that's out there, most of them, I'm not saying Bigfoot or aliens, I'm talking the ghost side of it. They're humans that have deceased. They're just like you and I. And when you bring positivity and energy, good energy and high vibration to these investigations, you get what you give. So that's why we decided to name it Paranormal Party. And yes, a paranormal party bus would be awesome. I just need to hire a driver. Are you in? That's a Victoria's question or statement there. So that's where we started. And I've been into the paranormal, gosh, for years and years. I can't even tell you how many years. And I've watched just about every show underneath the sun. And when I got sick just about 10 years ago, and I became disabled 8 years ago, I decided that, I was going to start living my best life, doing what I really love. Beep, beep. What I really, really love. And obviously that's the paranormal. And I found myself doing it, but not really being taken seriously in the field. So I decided to give, my name a little group, my little group a name and start putting myself out there. I mean, I don't know if you look back at my profile, but over a year ago, you hardly seen any selfies. I wouldn't do any lives. I mean, I was just my own little hermit. Well, I've decided to put myself out there, let people know that I'm serious. And let me tell you, this year has been absolutely wonderful. It's been extremely gratifying, overwhelming because I've been booked every single weekend this since spring. Um, I didn't expect it to take off like it did, and it's been absolutely remarkable. And I couldn't be happier. So, yeah, that's where we started from. Now, unfortunately,
Fantastic.
we did say, what's that? Unfortunately, my group is now me. I'm solo. I almost like it better that way because I don't have to answer to anybody else. I am able to fill in spots. I'm able to go where I want to go, when I want to go, with who I want to go. Um, it's easier to fill in those spots. I have friends all over the United States. So it's very easy for me to say, hey, what are you doing this weekend? You got an extra spot? And I can jump right in there. Where when you're in a group, it's a lot more on the finances. It's a lot more people to answer to. And I love being solo. Um, we had to say goodbye to Joe. And then my daughter had some medical issues she needed to get taken care of. So I've decided to just keep it me, myself, and I and go from there. So here I am. Annie, you're more than welcome to join me anytime. You know that. I love you to death. Len, do you have any questions for me? Oh, Victoria. Oh my gosh, my bucket list. My bucket list is huge.
Uh,
There's so many places that I haven't been to, including Texas and California and Florida, all over.
I was just going on with the questions at the end of the chat. So I was just going to let everybody else have a chance.
I had a great time with you, Carrie. I was recently with Carrie at the Cambry House, and it was absolutely amazing. They say we didn't get a lot of activity, but for me, any activity is good activity. Um, Carrie was quite the trooper that night. She stayed up all night. I tried to take two little naps, which was nice, but we even went outside in the rain and played with the SLS, and oh my gosh, just fun. We found out that the spirits in that place didn't like when you moved their chairs and stuff around. They definitely let you know that they weren't happy, that
Really?
they liked their stuff just so. Yeah, it was really neat. And I was outside at one point, and I don't know the name of the equipment that she used, but it knew when I was coming in the door because the little circle lights up and lets you know in what direction the spirits or whatever are. It spun around and pointed to the door right before I came in. It's pretty cool to catch. Victoria, if I could stay by you and be roomies with you and Toby, of course, I'd be more than happy to come on down and stay a weekend and go to a couple places with you. You know that though. I love you. And Annie, you are absolutely going to love the Rock Island YMCA. If you've never been there before, the building is huge. It's beautiful. It's got so much history. And let me tell you, some great people are going to be there that weekend. It just keeps getting better and better and bigger and better by the minute. If I had a group, I'd bring a group, but it's just me, Victoria. I mean, I can
I've really
bring.
got.
Say that again, Len. Just one group of one. We'll go back to how my year started. My first Paracon that I actually did was the Spirits in the Spring, and that was at Broadhead Manor, and that had a really, really good turnout. Not many huge names there, but we had Natalie Jones there, and Patty Negri, and Christina Bloom, Expedition Entity, We Are Paranormal. Yeah, we had quite a few vendors, especially within our local area. Paranormal groups and things like that, crafters, and was a great time. So that started off my Paracons for the year and my year when it comes to the paranormal. And that was in late April. And then going after that, it was one thing after another. I've literally been all over. I haven't been to like Texas or anything, or like out of Wisconsin, Illinois, Iowa, Ohio. I've been pretty much staying up in that region. Hopefully, with budget wise and stuff, I'll be able to venture out more next year. But then in July, I had the fundraiser at Broadhead. So it became a mini pop-up Paracon. So we had a good 15, 20 vendors. And what we were trying to do is raise enough funds in order to fix the roof on Broadhead Manor. And we had such a great turnout. We had some amazing people do some incredible donations. One was Victoria, so that was really kind of her. We had about 60 donations, most of which I didn't even have to ask for, but they be popping in one after another, and we were successful. We were able to raise enough funds to get the roof fixed on Broadhead Manor. So for my first little event, it turned out amazing. In fact, I won't let the cat totally out of the bag, but if you're up in our area next May, we're going to be flying some people in from out of state, and we're going to be having an even bigger Paracon at Broadhead Manor. So watch out for that. And I do have to give a shout out to Adam. Hi, handsome Adam. Glad you could join and you thought that you missed us. Oh, I've never heard of Haunted Hill. What is Haunted Hill, Victoria? And you drive like a grandma?
Yeah, I've never heard of Hill. That's a new one on me.
Yeah, I've never heard of it. Victoria, he might be your tech guy, but he's my guy. Just kidding. It's an ongoing thing that Adam and I have. Adam's my online boyfriend. Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
Oh, it's a haunted house in Mineral Wells. Well, that sounds like a nice time. I like the brothels, as she knows. There's a brothel up here that I frequent quite a bit. I'm not sure, Len, if you're aware of who Scotty Rourke is. Do you know who Scotty Rourke is, Len?
No, I'm not familiar with that name.
Okay. Well, he's a very well-known medium up here, and actually he's known all over the U.S. But he has an event this weekend at Old Baraboo Inn, and I will be assisting with the night investigations there. We rotate through 4 different parts in the building, so I'll be helping with that this weekend. So I go there a couple times a year. But yeah, it's a bar, but
Okay.
it's also
Give some more details.
yeah, it's a bar down in the main level, and then obviously you have your basement, and then upstairs would be the brothel. It's no longer a working brothel, it's an apartment, and then they save the other half to do the investigations at. But it's been known to frequent Al Capone back in the day. So there are the underground tunnels that you can still sort of see. You can't go through, but it went underneath the railroad tracks and stuff in town. And it's a very, very, very active place. And you've got children to working women to old gangsters to there's just one thing after another. It's never slow when I go there. So there's always a lot of activity.
Okay. Are there still tickets available for this?
There are, I believe there's 6 tickets left. And that's Old Baraboo Inn in Wisconsin. You can look it up on either the events page or you can find it on my page because I post about it quite frequently.
Okay. And your Facebook page is right below us here.
Yep, that's me. Otherwise,
So
you can
people
look
can
up
go there and get some
paranormal.
more details on this.
Yep, otherwise you can go to Paranormal Party WI for Wisconsin. So Paranormal Party WI on Facebook, and it's also on there as well. Whatever I share on my page, I also share on my party page.
Cool. So
Yeah.
what are we going to be doing this weekend?
What are you doing this weekend? I don't know what an underground aquifer is.
This internet.
So if you can explain that, Victoria, I mean, I think we might be talking about the same thing. I love you, Annie. Good night. Thank you for popping in. Yes, we do have those up here, especially
Good night, Annie.
because we have like Cave of the Mounds and things like that. So we've got a lot of underground caves and stuff where there's a lot of, the underground lakes along with rivers and stuff. So yes, it definitely amplifies things along with, the minerals and the granites and stuff that are found underground and whatnot. You get a lot of different vibrations and stuff coming from those as well. I guess it all depends on the area, but like the Wisconsin Dells and the Baraboo area, and then like way up north by the Michigan-Canadian border, by where all the lakes and stuff are way up north, there's quite a bit. Not so much in central Wisconsin where I live, but I can be in Iowa in 2 hours, well, 2.5, but yeah.
I think the cop is listening.
Couldn't hear you. You totally chopped up there, Len. I love haunted towns, but in all honesty, I think every town is haunted. It's just a
I
matter
said
of,
when a half-faced police officer listening.
yeah. I think it's a matter of how hard you look and how intrigued the community is in regards to spirits that would manifest them even more. So, like for instance, I live in what we call Prison City. So there are a whole bunch of maximum security prisons within a certain mile radius of me. One I can see from my front yard, the other one's 3 blocks away. And that housed people like Ed Gein and Stephen Avery. And actually, Stephen Avery's there right now. So it's housed a lot of major criminals, So yeah, I think hauntings are just about everywhere. It's just a matter of how hard you look and how hard you want to find them and how patient you are, because spirits
Exactly.
don't work on a paycheck.
Mhm. Nope. They're not a time clock. You can't force them to be on.
Good night, Adam. Love you. Thank you for coming on. I really
Yeah,
appreciate
good night,
it.
Adam. Yeah, yeah, thanks for dropping by, Adam.
Yeah, he's a good guy. He's a very good guy. He actually was just up in Michigan last month, I believe it was. And unfortunately, it's a little too far of a drive for me. Otherwise, I would have loved to have investigated with him too. Yeah, as Rihanna, it is some serious killers. In fact, Ed Gein, if you don't know anything about him, are you familiar with who Ed Gein is, Len?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Well, there is Washera County Historical Society or Museum, which is about an hour away from my home, which is just a little bit away from Plainfield, and that's where Ed Gein lived and committed his crimes. Um, I frequent there quite a bit because that's where Ed Gein was housed for the first few days after he was arrested, and then he was also brought back there in between court dates and things like that. Um, I have a very good friend. His name is Ed, Scott Bowser. He just was in a docu-series that released on the 18th, and he's an author. He's got 2 books out right now, and he's got another book coming. But he gave me a tour of the whole Plainfield area, and is to where Ed Gein committed some of those crimes. So his home, where he got arrested, where his brother um, was found deceased, thought to be killed by Ed Gein. The hardware store where he took Bernice Warden from, and then Mary Hogan, um, where her bar was, just all different areas, the cemeteries where they were buried. And it was absolutely amazing to see everything. Now, Ed Gein is not considered a serial killer because he was actually only convicted of killing 1 person, but we know he killed 2, possibly 3, if not more. What he was really known for was digging up the graves of women and taking their bodies and trying to create a mold or a mask of a woman. So he would take the skin and make capes and faces, and he would use the skulls to make bowls and one thing after another. It was absolutely disgusting, very, very gory. So he was behind Silence of the Lambs and Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and he was what that was really known for, where those movies really came from. No, not Buffalo Bill. But yeah, just absolutely disgusting, just disgusting. And in this docu-series that just came out, it's crazy because for the first time ever, people are actually hearing his voice. So they've got the tape recordings of him when he was interrogated by the police and things like that. And his voice is so monotone, and he feels no form of emotion whatsoever. It's pretty crazy. In fact, at this last the Great Lakes Paranormal Conference, I had the pleasure of Scott coming out and dropping off a bunch of his books for me. And within 6 hours, we sold 18 of his books, not even advertising, just by having them sit out on the table. So people are really intrigued by what this guy did. Just gross. So if you're interested in one of Scott's books, they are on Amazon, and one is called Gein, and the other one's called The Traveler's Guide to Ed Gein, or The Traveler's Guide to Plainfield. Oh, I didn't know that, Victoria. Wow, that's pretty awesome. Thank you, Lee. I'm glad you could join us. You always look good. Lee was with us last weekend too at the Great Lakes Paranormal Conference. She's a sweetheart.
Oh, cool.
Mhm.
So welcome to the show, Lee. Almost everybody you know is a sweetheart.
Yeah, I hang around with a good bunch of people. And then
I can agree with that.
the ones that aren't so great, well, they have their own little place over there, like way over there. The other ones I keep right here. Azriana, no, his
Of course, we can hear.
Ed Gein's land is not able to be investigated. It is private property. In fact, they were trying to sell it for the longest time, and they haven't been able to. In fact, the people in Plainfield don't want to discuss Ed Gein. It's very taboo. So they have been actually known to actually draw guns on people who actually go on the property unannounced or trespass. So even when you're at the cemetery, even paying respects to like Ed Gein's victims, people watch you. Everybody's watching any stranger that comes to Plainfield. It's almost unsettling when you go there. There was a documentary, I believe it was, Shock Docs, that had Steve Shippey and Cindy Kaza. They were actually able to gain access to the property, but it took them over 3 months and a lot of wheeling and dealing in order to get onto that property to do some filming. So they don't want people there. I would do that as Rihanna. But the
They probably
Washera
would not
County,
sell it to somebody like us.
right? Um, the Washera County Historical Museum is a place that gets investigated quite a bit. And it's not just known for Ed Gein. I want to make that very well known. They also housed POWs and stuff back in the day. And they have a lot of other activity in regards to children upstairs. And they housed the sheriff and his family on the right side of the building. And they just have history from the whole Watoma, Washera, Plainfield area. So it's an actual museum too. And you can rent that out by going on Midwest Ghost Seekers page and contacting Darren Buss. No, Victoria, the people were not buried on his land. They were actually buried in the cemetery. Well, 2 different cemeteries that I know of. It could be more. So don't mark my words on that. But he dug them up from Plainfield Cemetery and another one. And what's almost eerie about it is even though most of the people they knew that he dug up, they didn't know everybody. So he had bones and stuff in his home that were unable to be identified. So, because this was like back in 1954, I want to say, so they didn't have the DNA testing and whatnot like we do now. And it was actually just found last year, but there's a woman by the name of Mary Hogan, and that was one of the people that he was convicted of killing. But we just found her mass grave along with the grave of all of the other unknown victims, the unknown bodies that were dug up. And I was one of the first ones to be able to publicly show where that gravesite is. And it's marked, something on the lines of in remembrance of those that are unknown, unnamed, and stuff. It was really, really quite somber. And that was just this last August that I was able to see that. But now it can be seen in the docu-series that was just released this last month. Sorry, my cat. She's getting friendly.
Oh, a visitor.
Mm-hmm. Victoria has her Toby, and this is my Ivy.
Okay, I'm out of the show. Or
Oh, I still hear you.
oh,
I still hear you, but you're still cutting out pretty
okay.
bad.
Boy, you really fuzzed up there. There we go.
Yeah, sorry.
Now, I don't have a problem with furry friends. That's no problem. I'll ask them questions.
My cats are bigger than my dogs.
Oh, okay.
I would
You have big cats and small dogs.
Yeah, I got 2 dogs and 2 cats. Victoria, I like the more of the spooky type of hauntings, investigations, those type of things. I don't mind doing the tragic, but I don't know. There's always that heartache, that somber feeling, and it's hard for me not to get emotional when I do those kind of things. And I don't like getting emotional. I like, going on investigations, the happy, positive, fun, have a good time. Not, yeah, I'm not, obviously, I'll go anywhere. And death is always tragic. Well, not always tragic, but death is always there. And it's, it's always sad to some extent. But when you think about, the positive side of things, you know, and treat these deceased spirits as though they're a person rather than an entity, that's more gratifying for me than highlighting, some serial killer. I don't like highlighting things like that very often. In fact, I will let Victoria know this is something, well, everybody know, this is something that I've been shutting out for a while. You know how it's said that everybody is like sensitive to some degree. It's just a matter of how much you want to let in and how much you want to experience. Well, I've pretty much shut myself down to it. I'm always saying I want to live in my now. I'm content with where I am. I don't want to know who is doing what in what life, or what my future looks like, and not so much what my past looks like. I like living in my now, and I don't want to experience anything through the eyes of another. I like to experience things for myself. But I was at Malvern Manor a couple weeks ago with a great crew, and I was asked to go into one of the rooms, and it was a pretty slow night, not a whole lot of activity. I was asked to go into one of the rooms and sit there and tell them what I felt. And I sat down and I decided to, let myself open up a little bit. And as I sat there, it took me about 5-10 minutes to just really get myself in the zone. And I started at, explaining what I was feeling. And along the whole right side of my head, it started right here and then it went straight down. It felt like it was like pins and needles, pins and needles. And then it stopped. And then all of a sudden, I got this really tightness in my chest, almost like I was bawling my eyes out, like a really, really good hard cry. Last I remember feeling that way was when my grandma passed away. And we got some action when I started asking questions where the tripwire was going off and stuff right outside the door and things like that. Well, when it was time for me to come out of the room, um, I was explained that in that room housed a woman, and Malvern Manor was an assisted living facility for those that were mentally unstable or elderly. It was explained to me that the woman was dropped off by her husband because her husband could no longer care for her and just left her there, never heard from again. And she was right handed and she actually started pulling out her hair. And that she was so heartbroken that all she would do was sit there and cry. So that was my validation, for how I was feeling in that specific room. And I didn't know that history beforehand. I like going into most places not knowing a lot of the history, maybe the year it was built and things like that. But I'd prefer to get the evidence or data and then find out the history to see if it supports one another. I go backwards compared to where others go the other way, where they want the history, they want to ask those specific names, they want those kind of things to come out. Where me, I prefer to work the other way. So yeah, that was pretty cool for me. But I don't want to do it anymore. I think that was a one-time thing for me.
Mm-hmm. There's a lot of sad stories out there.
There really are. There really are. I guess that's one of the things that keeps us, going. Because most of those sad stories are the ones that, where we're, that are lost in what we call that limbo in between, the here and crossing over. So I think that's where a lot of that comes from.
Yeah, she may still be wanting to hang around there waiting on her husband to come back and get her.
Exactly. I would, you know, that's exactly what I would do. Oh, so that's how you started your remote drawings. That's cool. So you and I think a little bit of alike there. When I'm looking down, I can see comments on my other phone. So that's why I look down to read down there.
Okay. We'll put that back for a second. Yeah, I think it's kind of amusing because when I first got into paranormal, there were hardly anybody that was out basically investigating their own or, just working with. I out and started doing that and met a whole bunch of people and was happy, doing that. I could go where I wanted to go and work with who I wanted to work with.
Isn't that nice though?
A lot of people say you can investigate by yourself. You can't do it. It's dangerous. Yes, it is.
Do.
And I found it refreshing. Now, there's some places I don't want to go by myself. Like Wayne Hills, I'm not that much money to go there by myself. I wouldn't do the place surface because I couldn't get around that much of the thing. It's just not worth it. But a smaller place, and I know I'm secure. I've given somebody a little bit of money. They take care of the place. They know I'm in there, and they're not like anybody else in there. I don't mind going there. It's to me and the spirits, right. And I'm not afraid of the spirits. I'm afraid of the living.
Right? Me too. Me too. I'm afraid of the living. The living haunts me more than the dead do. I love investigating alone. I find myself when I go in, like with other groups and stuff, I'm typically a guest when I'm with them, and I like to let them do their things as their teams. So I'll go off and do my own things. And when they want me to be a part of them, I'll be a part of them. But I love being alone because it heightens my senses. I'm able to hear better. I'm able to see better. Where I don't have those other distractions around me. So I love doing things alone. Um, Now,
Yes.
am I afraid to go into a cemetery alone at night? Absolutely not. Even though it's taboo up here, illegal after dark to go into most of the cemeteries around here. But even during the day, I'll go to a cemetery. I don't have a problem with that. As long as I know a building is structurally sound and I know that I have permission, I'm not afraid to enter a building and investigate by myself. Somebody always knows where I'm at, and in case they don't hear from me, in 2 hours when I'm supposed to be home or something, so they can come find me, but I love being alone. Love being alone. Now, I'm going to ask a question here. For those that are viewing right now, are you guys still having a really hard time hearing Len when he's talking? I don't mind spiders and roaches and things like that. I don't even mind bats. Okay. Now, Len, everybody is having a really hard time hearing you. You are breaking up really, really bad throughout this whole episode. So, what if you don't mind, if you
Yeah.
can understand what I'm saying, I'm going to have them ask any questions that they want, and I'll go ahead and answer, and then we'll probably wrap this up. So, does
Okay,
anybody
that's
have any?
that's kind of what we've been doing. It's sad to say I got some really bad choppy internet tonight. Usually when I reset it, I've got a little bit of speed, but tonight must be a lot of people gaming tonight because that's what's clogging up the system I'm on.
Yeah, which is very, very, very unfortunate. But you know what? I'm still just as happy to be able to be a part of your show once again, and we'll have to definitely do it again sometime. Definitely. Does anybody have any questions that they want to ask real quick before we say our goodbyes?
Uh, yeah, Lee says my lights are very blinky. That's my flame bulbs here.
There is flickering candles.
Yeah, they're flame bulbs. People are really having a hard time
Just,
hearing me. So
just
I tell you what, let's do this another time. Maybe we can get back together in uh, later in October, November, and hopefully I get some little bit better internet. I really apologize
it's
to
okay.
everybody trying to watch tonight because this I usually have kind of slow internet. Tonight just
That's all
really.
right.
Let
It
me know where
happens.
you're
It's
going
out of your control.
next.
Okay, so where am I going next? This weekend, like I said, I'm at the old Baraboo Inn in Baraboo, Wisconsin, and that starts at 6 p.m., I believe, and runs until, well, I don't know, 12:30 at night. And then October 7th, I'm at the Rock Island YMCA Paracon. And then the weekend after that, I have that up in the air. I've got a couple possibilities, and I haven't quite decided what I want to do there. Um, and then the 21st, I believe it is, I'm at the Washera County Historical Society. I've got some friends coming up to investigate there again with me. And then on the 28th of October, I'll be at the Old Mercy Hospital. Wuska, Wuska, Zlakska, Wuska. I don't know how to pronounce the name. But I'll be at Old Mercy Hospital with From the Ashes. They just started a new group, but she was with All Out Paranormal with Rex Nielsen. But I'll be going there with her and her group. So I'm really excited for that. So that's where I'll be through October. So busy, busy, busy. Oh, Lee. Unfortunately, I'll be at Old Mercy Hospital. Otherwise, I'd come to your Halloween party. I'm sorry. We can have our own private party. You're, 20 minutes away from me, so we can always have our own party. But Lee, in case you didn't hear earlier, Cat isn't out of the bag quite yet, but message me or mark your calendar for, we'll say May 18th and 19th. Wink, wink. That's our next big event at Broadhead. Shh. So if that's it, I think we'll call this a night then, okay? Len,
Yeah,
I really appreciate you, Len. I've enjoyed getting to know you throughout this last year, and I can't wait to see what the future brings for you and I. Your buddy Dale Merrick, his event is unfortunately on the 8th, so I can't make it to that because I'm already at the Rock Island on the 7th, and I can't make it from point A to point B fast enough. I love you. I love all of you. Thank you, everyone. X's and O's. So we'll say goodbye.
All right. Say goodbye, everybody. Appreciate you coming to tonight. And Jamie, we will be talking again.
Absolutely.
Maybe in just a few weeks, we'll try this again. Okay, now right now I've got speed. I've got a full dot and a bar. So you should be picking me up very well. So maybe I should just get out of here and say goodnight, everybody, and goodbye while I can talk.
Yes, because you still cut out just a little bit. But yes, we were able to say
just
our
a little bit.
Thank you, Len.
All right.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you for being here. Thank you. And we will be talking again.
Wonderful. All right. Bye, everyone.
Everybody have a good night now. All right. I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. The internet has just improved. We might could go on later. I don't know. But it's been really choppy so far tonight. I will be at their office tomorrow and see what goes on. I don't know. Maybe how am I coming in now? Is it okay now, or is it?
You're still a little choppy. It's not that bad, but you're still a little choppy.
Okay, let's just it's 55 minutes, so that's enough. So I really appreciate you carrying the show tonight.
Thank you.
Have a good night. That's it for the show. Let me get out here with a little bit for what we're talking about. And here this is.
experience the haunted Rock Island YMCA Paracon October 7th from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. is just the event you're looking for. You will have the opportunity to investigate the haunted Rock Island YMCA with ACG Paranormal. Visit with over 60 paranormal and metaphysical vendors from 8 or more states and pre-order your t-shirts at dvinar@aol.com. Visit a psychic gallery reading, mediums, tea leaf reading, animal communication, dream interpretation, aura reading, tarot and oracle card readings, or get a Reiki healing. See a demonstration of the Estes method by Carly Bird. Presentations by Nick Simons and Aaron G. Thompson of 28 Days Haunted. Greg Bakken from Ghostbox Radio and headliner Rick Hayes, along with many folks you'll see on Paraflix. Be sure to like and follow our sponsors. Paraflix, WLTK DB Talk Radio LLC, Studio 6 Productions, Unturned Pages, and Ocean Eye Crystals. General admission is only $5 and all proceeds go directly to the haunted Rock Island YMCA. For more information on the haunted Rock Island YMCA Paracon and vendors, look for them on Facebook under events.
Hi, my name is Dale Kazmarek, President of the Ghost Research Society. Just a very short video here to remind everybody of our upcoming second annual Midwest Spirit Fest to be held Sunday, October 8th, 2023 at the Thornton Distillery in Thornton, Illinois. There'll be speakers, vendors, psychic readings, and paranormal investigations of a haunted underground artesian well. If you're interested, please contact me at dale@ghostresearch.org through my Facebook page or my website. Thank you.
Thanks for watching our show. Be sure to tune in to next week as once again we journey way down south into Bayou Country for another heaping portion of Southern Fried Paranormal with Len Dorman and Bones. Make sure to like, share, and follow. Y'all come back now. You hear?